about a push-up real quick. The first thing you'd want to do is get into a solid plank position, just like we talked about. Go ahead and walk out to it, good. We're looking for the arm being straight under, maybe even slightly back. The end result is she wants to have her hands right at the sternum when she ends, that far down. Not here obviously, but here, right? We don't want to have our hands up here or down here when we're doing a push-up, because what happens is it becomes too much of a shoulder or a tricep movement. So we want it to be really balanced right there, basically right at where the ribs meet, right at the sternum. So she's in a good plank position. She has the hollow body position going. Now she's going to lower herself, controlled down to the ground. One thing we're looking for is the angle of the forearm. We don't want it too angled. If it's like this, if it's like this, she's going to do, again, too much tricep. If it's back here, too much shoulder. So we want it nice and balanced where this forearm's pretty much vertical. Tight, tight body, pressing off the toes. She lifts herself up. There you go. Give us a 5 of them. Nice and controlled. Hopefully when you're 60 years old, you can do perfect push-ups too. And here's a view from the front so that we can see what her elbow is doing. She's in a good position. She twists a little bit to get a stable position for her shoulder, and it stays there the whole time. So twist that hand just a little bit like this without moving your hands. So your hands are straight forward, and then you twist like this, like that. So the pit of the elbow is forward, and that creates a stable shoulder position. So there is a way that we can do push-ups. But what if they're too difficult? Well, now we just do push-ups off of something. So here's an option. Come over to a box, or a chair, or a countertop. Get in that same perfect hollow body position, nice and tight. And now you do the same exact thing, and wherever the counter or the box is, should hit you right in the sternum. Work on that, and as you get stronger, get a lower and lower position until pretty soon you're on the ground doing push-ups.
This is my friend Matt, the ab mat, and this is what we use to do sit-ups. Now I realize that not everybody has an ab mat, so I'll show you where it goes when I get into my sit-up position, but to save yourself some money, you can just use a towel to accomplish the same thing with the ab mat.
And the reason why we use an ab mat or a towel is because it puts your lower back in a better position. A lot of people have hurt their lower back in sit-ups because of not having something and they overarch on it. So this keeps something stable right there for the lower back. So we're going to talk about sit-ups. One way we can do it is an unanchored regular sit-up where you're going to touch the ground behind you and then you're going to come up and touch your toes. Pretty simple, right? That's all there is to it. That's a sit-up. Another option that you could do is you could go do a butterfly sit-up. That's where you put the soles of your feet together. Now these are going to work different parts of the abs and hip flexors. They're both really good movements. You can do them really strict and controlled. You can put a small weight on you and do them. Or you can anchor your feet with a set of dumbbells. And you can do more of what would be considered a dynamic sit-up maybe, where we're going to allow the use of our arms to throw our bodies up, but we're going to do a bunch of them really fast. So I'll show them 10 fast. So she's throwing her arms, coming up really fast. She still touches the ground behind her, touches the weights. They're an easier sit-up, but when you're doing 25, 30, 50, 100 of them, it starts to add up and you'll get really sore from it. So a really good option for different types of sit-ups. That's about it. Okay, now we're going to talk about the most fundamental move that there is, and that's the squat. People don't do it enough. It's a really important piece for a lot of different reasons. It's great for your back. It's great for keeping everything going inside. It's not done enough. So Karen is going to demonstrate a full depth squat. And we're going to talk about a couple pieces. First one is her back stays straight the whole time. She's not going to round like this. You can think of it as you don't have any movement in your spine, it's just a rod and it stays the same the whole time. So from here to here, it doesn't change at all. So that's the first piece. The next piece is she's going to push her hips back. Good stand side of her back. Okay, so she's going to keep her back straight. She's going to push her hips back and bring her hands out for a counterbalance. Just like that. The reason she's going to push her hips back is so the weight's in her heels. When she's first learning, she's going to pull her toes up just a little bit. Eyes stay up. And now she's going to push her knees apart and sink straight down. All the way as low as she can in a good position. You see how low she is? Really good squat. One thing that we're always looking for in the bottom of a squat is the crease of the hip is below the top of the knee. And then on the way up, she's going to drive her chest up and drop her hands. So let's see about 5 of those in a row. Controlled, nice, all the way down, the weight stays in the heels, her back stays nice and straight, her eyes stay up, knees go out. Good job.
Let's see a couple from the front.
And then a couple from the front, so you can see where her knees are tracking. So one thing we would want to see is her knees come onto the inside because it's collapsed. That'll make her lower back collapse. It'll also be a bad position for her knee. It puts a lot of weird strain on her knee. So she drives her knees apart like she's almost going to the outside of her foot a little bit, like she's trying to split the floor apart. And then she drives her chest up and drops her hands. That's the squat. Now one thing you can do too is if you can't really squat all the way down for whatever reason, here's a way to modify it. Here's a box. Karen steps in front of the box, gets into her squat stance, and now she's going to go ahead and sit down, but keeping all those pieces of the squat in mind. So her back stays straight, her knees stay apart, and if she needs to, she can sit all the way down. And then on the way up, just keep the back straight, lean forward, and drive up. If that's too hard, that's a 12-inch box. Make it a 14-inch box. Make it a 20-inch box. Make it a chair. Anything. But make sure you keep all those pieces in mind, especially when it comes to the back.